I wanted to talk with you guys today about self-talk, but most importantly, about keeping strength mentally in stressful situations. One of the things that Mark has always talked about is that we can't allow ourselves to lose the fight before we get into the cage. And I feel like at some point we're all going to have to deal with that. For me, the most stressful part is directly before the match. I feel like that's when things start to close in on me, and I have to use some kind of tool to break through that, because we have to leave all of our negative thoughts in the warm-up room, and we need to execute and be aggressive in the fight, and we need to most importantly win the fight, and that's what we're here to do. A little bit about myself: I've trained here at Factory X since 2010. I've had all of my amateur and professional fights through the gym. The reason that I wanted to fight, I grew up fighting, not necessarily in a bad way, but I feel like that's just kind of how it used to be. I don't know if that's how people are anymore, but I grew up fighting in middle school and high school, and then when I was a senior, The Ultimate Fighter came out, and I started watching it with my friends and became interested in the sport. And one night we were drinking some beers, and I just decided that I was going to have an MMA match. And so, I just wanted to say that I did it. I wanted to kind of check it off my bucket list and say that I was man enough to get out there and throw down in a cage. So I started looking for gyms to train. I would train at a gym here, train at a gym there. The gym would go out of business, or the trainer would quit training or whatever. Well, a couple years went down the line, and I finally found Mark and Factory X, and Mark told me, stay with us, train a couple months, we'll get you a fight, and we'll see how things go. Well, I trained, I worked my ass off, and Mark was a man of his word, and he got me my first MMA fight, and I was very excited for that. What I didn't realize was the nerves that were going to come into the moment before the fight. I was very excited, I trained my ass off, but when it came down to the moment of truth, I was so nervous that I didn't want to not win. You know what I mean? I was gonna let nerves get in the way of not winning. Thankfully, I did win, and everything worked out. But I realized that I needed some kind of tool to help me get through this moment. And I don't know if you guys remember, but he used to train here when I was an amateur, and that was Chris Holland. And I would fight as an amateur, he was fighting as a pro. And one of the things that he told me was, when he was sitting in the back and he got really nervous, he would kind of feel this pussiness, or this bitchness come over him, this doubt. And he would immediately find a mirror, and he would look himself in the mirror, and he would ask himself, what kind of man are you? What kind of woman are you? Are you gonna let this fear take hold, or are you gonna man up and fight? And from that moment, you have to man up and fight. Okay, we're not going to allow these things to cripple us or affect us in the fight. Another tool that I've found that has really helped me out, and it's one of the biggest cliches in sports, but you can only worry about the things that you can control. Okay, we can't worry about things that we can't control. And I start at the bottom of the list with the things that I can control. And number one, I would say, is my diet. In the beginning, when I started fighting, I would starve myself down to my weight, and I would feel like dog shit in the fight. Since then, I've gotten with nutritionists, and I've gotten with other teammates to find what works best for me, so I feel very strong coming into the fight. Number two, I would say, is cardio and conditioning. We train at Landau Performance, and I would say that that's, if not the best place to train, it's one of them in the world. And I know that when I leave there and I throw up twice, I know that I've done my work, right? I also know that when I put in my road work, when I'm exhausted, I go to bed exhausted, I know that I'm prepared for this match. I get confidence in that, I get strength in that. Another thing is what we do on these mats here. These mats are the best in the world, I believe. I believe that what takes place here is like no other place that I've ever seen. So I believe in the training that happens here and the preparation. That's why I ask a lot of questions when I'm preparing for a fight, but I leave it all here so that when I'm in the locker room, there is no more questions. All that is already solved. I would say definitely one of the most important things that we have is our coaching staff, world-class teaching, and when I go to the fight, I know that these people are behind me. I know that they're going to be with me in the match. It gives me a lot of strength before I go out there. But I would say that the number one thing, or I would say equal to that, is my team. I appreciate every one of you that's been here for me since the beginning, and I draw strength from your experiences and your help as I prepare for the match, and that's how I prepare myself for the battle. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you can gain a little bit from that.